we're going to take a break. But here's Street Sign's nomination for the best call of 2007. On January 1st, one fund manager wrote to his clients, quote, "Sometime in the next 12 to 18 months, there is going to be a panic in the credit markets." We'll find out what that man is telling clients today. We'll be back. Live picture, the big board at the New York Stock Exchange. Stocks are broadly trading lower today. The NASDAQ Composite, where we are at Street Signs, is off about 0.7% near the low of the session, 27.26. Well, as we promised, we have the man who was one of the first to predict the credit market meltdown that we have coined here, thanks to all of your feedback, the subprime tsunami. Today, there's potential for a different kind of crisis, though, on his radar. Andrew Redleaf is the founder of White Box Advisors, a hedge fund family with about $3 billion under management, and I believe he hails from the state of Minnesota. Andy, thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
So you wrote this letter in January saying that you saw some sort of a panic in the fixed income market over the next year to 18 months, specifically related to these structured products that we have all become so used to. Can I just ask you if there's any way you could characterize for me how you traded on that, or how much money you made on the back of that incredibly prescient prediction?
Well, we're not supposed to talk about returns or how much money we made. Beginning late last year and early this year, we started accumulating basically credit protection on individual pools of subprime mortgages.
Okay, so I guess that is a way of saying, although you can't tell me how much, you certainly made money if you were buying credit protection on those last year.
Yes.
All right. So now that we know that you made a prediction that was right, and not only did you tell everybody else about it, but you also traded on it, you got your full standing to be here. So let me just ask you what you're doing right now. I know that you have a prediction out there on the dollar.
Well, not quite a prediction. You know, I've said I think there's a chance for a dollar crisis, by which I mean a decline in the dollar swift enough and severe enough to disrupt international transactions. I think it's less than a 50-50 probability, but it's not a 1,000-year, 100-year storm kind of thing. It's a 10, 15, 20% likelihood in my view.
So this sort of like Alan Greenspan's prediction of a recession in the U.S. economy. All right, so a lot of folks out there are going to say, all right, the dollar's already off, what, about 10%? I mean, there was someone out there who had recently said, and I know you had talked about it, a couple of professors had said we could see the dollar go down 30% over the next few years. Over the past couple of years, we've only seen a decline of what, about 10, 11%? So
well, quite a bit more than that. I mean, the dollar, the euro used to be 90 cents. It's $1.40 now. But I think it's important to remember markets very, very rarely crash from the top. They crash from the middle.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's that we've had a meaningful decline is kind of the precursor to more currency volatility and not something that would prevent that.
All right, so let me ask you here, because the New York Times today, and I'll hold it up so everyone can see it, they had a great section in their deal book, and they profiled you. There's your picture in the middle. You talked about things like how you can balance a pencil on your stomach, which I know you can't demonstrate right now since we're trying to be, you know, have an interview, but I was curious about that. But there's how they finished the article. You said, we're certainly not having a credit crisis right now. That's what you wrote in your most recent letter. But we could be looking at a currency crisis defined as a collapse in the dollar that would disrupt transactions, what you just said. But here's how they ended their article, the last line. He's got a weird trade for it. Well, what's that weird trade?
We're not talking about the weird trade.
Oh, you're not talking about the weird trade. Any sort of a hint or allegation that you could share with us?
No, though, you know, I would say currency volatility will, if we're right about currency volatility, it will lead to volatility in other markets, and at all times in all places we look to be able to acquire very cheap calls on volatility, and we think we have a very interesting play on that. We're going to be talking to clients about it in the future, probably not on television for a while. They have to be right.
All right. Well, look, we can do nothing but try. Andy, we do appreciate your being with us today, and we'll take it on someone who was right before is saying a 15 to 20% chance of something significant happening with the dollar from here. Thanks so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
We'll save the pencil balancing act for another time as well. But just ahead for us.